Om Shanti, brother, sister. Hope everything's okay with you. So, I was asked to talk about, I guess, my life following Baba and also getting sustenance and all the experiences I have had. And there are many experiences. I am about to reach 40 years in this knowledge, and I feel so fortunate that I have come at that time. But funny thing is, at that time I didn't feel so fortunate. So I'm going to talk about following Brahma and also sustenance mixed with a bit of my life story. First of all, it was magical to meet Baba. Really, the signs were there. I read the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, when I was just 14 years old, and my family didn't have any background. The place where I live, my social, circle, nobody knew and talked about anything of India, nothing at all. So that was magical in a way. And just before coming to Gyan, I started to think about, oh, I need to do yoga. But I thought about Hatha Yoga, because that's the yoga we know in my country, in my place. But just 6 months before, I was start to think about that. But anyway, besides my birth, when I came to Gyan, I had a very strong realization. This is my place. That was the feeling. I was found, or I found. At that time, I thought I found a place. I understand. I was found. By whom? I didn't know. And I learned about that slowly, gradually. And the main thing is, when I came to Gyan, I was like very weak internally. I was going through lots of turmoils, lots of confusion. I was just 18 years old. I was a military. I was studying to be an officer in the Air Force. And I really didn't want that. So I didn't know what to do. And I was doing things that I knew I didn't want. But I didn't see a way out of all of that. So I think the first thing that drew my attention was knowledge. You know, the versions spoken by Baba in the Murlis, they are so powerful. Because I was still studying in the school, Air Force School was a beautiful place, very beautiful, but pretty far away. It's very isolated. So I couldn't go to the center much, only my holidays. And of course, I was just a teenager. I didn't have money to move by myself. So my mother didn't like I was roaming around in the early mornings. It was very strange for her. So I couldn't go as often as I wanted. But every time I went, it was as if I was receiving jewels, pure jewels. So my main source of sustenance those first years was knowledge. And not information, but knowledge. The idea that with that I was receiving something valuable can happen to my life. I had that very clear, and I really want to change my life somehow. So I used to grasp in any point of Murli, anything a teacher said or senior, anybody, anything was like air, and I was feeling like a drunk person just find a way to come out of the ocean. And that feeling was very strong for me. The second source of sustenance was not yoga, was dharna. Because at that time, the family where I was, they were kind of consolidated already, you know. So the numbers, the people, and in fact, after me, nobody new came for maybe 2 or 3 years, at least in that place, in that center. And so I was treated very well in one way, in terms of they really wanted me to be there. So when I start to be firm, paka, then I start to feel that vibration. But even before, I felt the energy. Even so, I was very far away. There was no internet, and the mulis were not properly established. So I didn't receive the mulis, and I was very new. I mean, I just took knowledge and went to the school again. So they didn't send me muli properly. But still, I felt the vibration. I couldn't forget that. And I even gave classes there. In fact, one brother emerged from there, from the same school I was. It was really, really amazing. And I feel the family gave me lots of love, even though it was subtle, because I didn't have a physical connection. But I remember my course. I still remember when I took the course. So I was there. I used to go. We are 5 friends, close friends, and out of the 5, 3 of us took the course at that moment. Another one took the course later, and he became a Brahmin. And the 5th one never took the course. About 2 or 3 years ago, it was the first time he went to a program of Brahma Kumaris. So we 3 used to go, the 3 friends, and their course started one day before mine. So it was a different time, like 2 hours gap or something like that. So they used to go to the course, and I used to stay there waiting for them. And because it was close to 18 January, the sisters, they were rehearsing dance, etc. And I felt so good. It was such a good energy. So I think the second sustenance came from the family. That dharna, which is very nice, very pure. This is my aspect in terms of sustenance, and I really felt so intoxicated. As I said, I gave a course there in my school. I was military. I couldn't do it. They could put me in jail, but I didn't know, in fact, and I didn't care much. And eventually start to be free from that bondage, because it became a bondage. Slowly I was back to the civil life, so I didn't become an officer. And when I came back to the civil life, and I start to get in touch with the center in a much closer way, again magics happened. From my house to Baba's place, it used to take almost 2 hours. Then, when I was in the school, my mother moved away. So now, from my house to Baba's place was less than 40 minutes. So it was Baba's magic. So when I started to get closer and closer, knowledge was still the main source of sustenance, and it would be the main source of sustenance for many, many more years. The love of the family, the interaction of the family also. I felt like the first time I'm seeing people who understand me, and with whom I can talk with. It was amazing, the feeling. But then yoga and service emerged, but not in that order. In fact, first I start to be drawn to service. Small things like taking care of the music in the Center for the Meditation, Murli. Very small things, here and there, everywhere. And I really felt sustenance from that. I was really feeling like I was breaking something. My yoga was not that powerful, but I still remember like 1 week after taking the course, or 2 weeks. It was 25th January, so it was 2 weeks after I started the course, more or less. There was a silence day in the center. and I really enjoyed. So I didn't have the yoga as yoga meditation, but I had the experience of the vibration of the yoga that was there, and that was part of my sustenance for quite a while. I was redefining my life. You know, if you know anybody who is in the military or any calling vocation, no. So when you leave that, it's you feel like you are in disbalance, total disbalance. So it took time for me to get into balance again, and the steps of Baba, in that case, was very useful. They were very useful because I was a military. It was very easy for me to follow instructions. So Baba Shrimat, Baba Mariada. Even so, I didn't stand fully, and I wasn't able to follow everything in my consciousness. At least physically, I was able to follow them. And I remember one class by Sister Mira from Malaysia. It was an amazing class. And she said something very powerful. She said, you know, even so you are sitting Amriti Vela and you were like dozing off and sleeping, because you are following, because you are fulfilling Baba's hopes or Shrimat, you are getting blessings. And I really grasped into that, because my yoga used to be the worst. The worst, really, really bad, really bad. I still remember. So I used to grasp into those because, sitting down I can, meditate I can't, but at least one part. And if I'm here today, it means probably it worked. It worked very well. And something else emerged. What I realized is that at the beginning, dharna, in terms of sustenance, it's from others to me. But after a while, dharna becomes from me to others. And really things didn't work that well. I was not an easy person to deal with. So I recognize that a lot. And so I'm sure that I gave lots of trouble to people here and there. But that was the time Baba used to say that diamonds can only be polished by other diamonds. So these two things helped me to move on. Even so I was not doing yoga properly, still I was following. So I was get blessings. And second, even so my dharma was not the best, still, well, I was trying my best, really. I was really trying my best. And so at least I was there. I was present there and I was polishing everyone around me. Then slowly I went and I got into advanced course in terms of this Brahmin life. I start to enjoy so much knowledge that I start to give others knowledge. And I was very good with that. Not me. In fact, it was Baba's, obviously. That was obviously Baba gave me the specialty to churn knowledge and give others knowledge. So it was very easy for me. Service became the second source of sustenance, and sometimes even the first. I really enjoy doing service, and even so I used to work hard. And I had some sickness for some time. I had a headache 24 hours a day, every time. It was really bad. Still, I used to go and do service. You know, I had that energy that I have to do something. I have to do something. And I start to see my life changing for better, you know, in terms of money, etc. I didn't have money, really. So when I had to go to Madhuban, you know, it was $2,000 American dollars to go from my country to India. Impossible. And then Baba made the magic and I was able to go in 86. That was a very fantastic Murli. It was a Murli that Baba came around 7:30 p.m. and left at 10:30 a.m. next day. It was really, really amazing. So I saw that through service, my locking situation started to change a lot. I started to change in terms of money, as I said, but also in terms of clarity, what I really want in life. Then the third thing was yoga. I was struggling a lot, but that was a time when in my country there was lots of yoga programs. There was always some retreat here and there. We had Dadi Guzar, Dadi Janki, so there was always some energy moving around. So I felt like compelled a bit to improve my yoga. And Dharna was still my last subject. Forget about that. Really. But I start also to follow Father Brahma's steps because I start to reconnect a bit more with my family. Because of many things, my family and I, we are not strangled, but we are distanced apart. So I start to get connected again a little bit. So it was a process in my life, and I think the service was really, really the main aspect. And due to that, one day I was sent to another country. It was something like, it was a bit of my dream. Oh yeah, I'm going now to another country. But there I realized the importance of yoga. I had knowledge, no problem. Baba gave me that specialty. Service, yeah, it was problematic, but Baba's magic, the money, everything started to show up. Dharna, forget about that. I'll take many years more. But yoga, I start to realize if I don't have yoga, it doesn't matter how much service I do, it won't work fully. And really, that was the turning point where I start to see yoga in a different way. And nowadays, I do feel my first source of sustenance is yoga. Second is still knowledge. Service is third. Dharna is fourth, because I enjoy making others happy. I enjoy making something to other people, like this video, that I hope it will help you. I hope it will help, maybe not you, but someone you know. And that's really amazing for me nowadays. But that moving to another country, because when you are in your own country, your own sanskars are there, so you use the same things, the same food, the same stuff. Even the language I changed, so the same language, everything. When I moved to another country, it was different language, different culture, different food, different everything, the weather, everything was totally different. And all of a sudden I realized, yes, I'm here by myself. If I don't have the yoga, nobody's around me. I don't have a family as I used to have to support me. Didn't have a big center to support me. Only Baba. And so that motivated me. And it still works nowadays. So what I realized from all of this is this. First of all, to get sustenance from Baba, Baba will give you some, but you have to do your work. In fact, when Baba says, 1 step of courage, 100 steps from the Father, it's not only for service, but it's also for your own sustenance, to take real sustenance. Look at the world. If you see the world around you, you see how people are taking sustenance from things that don't work. Things that, in fact, they make them sick. And they still take sustenance. They eat, or they drink, or they do whatever they want. And it doesn't work. So that sometimes happens with us Brahmins. We don't know how to be sustained. So we need to have courage to understand sustenance better. And the second thing is, yoga is key. No matter whatever people say, oh, I take sustenance from Toli, I take sustenance from Didi, I take sustenance from whatever, from this song that's playing now. The best sustenance will be always to be in connection with that one. You are following these steps. Okay? So let's have a few seconds of silence and reflection. Let me connect with Baba and be fully sustained. Om Shanti